he's been kind of ahead of the curve on a lot of things that he doesn't seem to get much credit for. And I think one of the things that I found really interesting was that there's a subsidiary within his company called Berkshire Energy that has been a huge mover and shaker in the green energy world, particularly in wind farms. And he's also worked with some of the solar farms that have been created in Nevada around Las Vegas. And they have invested billions into these businesses to put themselves in a position to really start to reap the benefits, because here in the United States with the new administration coming to power, there's been a lot of movement towards the green energy, and Andrew and I have talked a lot about this over the last year or so. And that was one of the things that I found intriguing, because most people, I think of Buffett as kind of this old stodgy dude that just doesn't, he doesn't talk about tech, and he has always kind of eschewed tech. And, like you were mentioning, Chris, he's really been negative about airlines, and then he bought airlines, and then he turns around and sells them really quick. So, sometimes there's this aspect of him that I think people think that he's kind of this curmudgeon that's stuck in buying, the old boring banks and IBM and some of these kind of dated companies. But he's really on the forefront of some of these green energy initiatives that are really coming down the pike that are going to really take off, not only for the company, but for the country and for the world. And whether you believe in green energy or not, the simple fact of the matter is that if it's cheaper and if it's more economically feasible for the companies, they're going to do it. And so whether they have the political mindset or whatever economic or the ecological mindset to do it, it's coming. And he embraced that idea years ago. This isn't something that just happened a few months ago. He's been in the works doing this. He owns a wind farm in Iowa. Again, being from Iowa, I can make fun of it, but it's flat, it's nothing, and the wind blows all the time. So it's the perfect place for a wind farm.
Yeah, so why not?
He's in Omaha, Nebraska. He knows what I'm talking about. So it's a great place to put. And so when he bought Berkshire Energy, he started building that infrastructure. And when all this started coming to pass, it's kind of like you wonder, did he have an inside track on this? Like, how did he know that this was going to happen? And it's not just about the solar energy. There's other things that the company has done that he's put himself in a position for Berkshire to be successful after he passes, because, not to be the morbid one in the room, he and Charlie are older. And not to be negative, but it could happen any day. And he set himself up to be in a good position for the company as well as the shareholders. And doing things like shedding the airlines, I think, was probably a prudent move, especially here in the States. The airlines still haven't recovered, and now there's more fears of COVID rising again. And so now the airlines are starting to make noises about, maybe we got to hold off on hiring these people. Who knows what's going to come to pass. But my point being is that the airlines are going to be in for a rough ride for a while. And
for sure.
And I think him dumping that was probably a wise move.
Yeah, just in the fact that he couldn't see what was coming, so he didn't feel comfortable in his investment choice or his philosophy from when he first purchased. And so kind of like translating to the everyday investor, or even ourselves and our listeners and whatnot, if you can't see what's ahead, maybe don't buy it. Just simple as that.
Yeah, very simple. One of Buffett's favorite quotes is if you buy a company and stock market closes for 5 or 10 years, would you still want to own that company in 5 or 10 years? And if the answer is no, then don't buy it.